on an icy lake. First, President Trump defending his embattled national security advisor, the man who reportedly added a journalist to a Signal app group chat with the White House inner circle, saying Mike Waltz is a good man and he will continue to do a good job. President Trump downplaying the issue, saying he doesn't believe they shared classified.
At approximately 1:48 a.m. Central Time, emergency services responded to a series of 911 calls originating from rural areas in Cass County, Missouri. Callers reported symptoms including nausea, confusion, and dizziness, followed by sudden compulsion to leave their homes. In response, a shelter-in-place advisory has been issued for residents living within 15 miles of Garden City, Dayton Township, and the Harrisonville region. Do not investigate noises outside your residence. Emergency crews are on scene and monitoring conditions. They keep calling my name from the field. I haven't answered yet.
Overseas. First, the messages now revealed. The Atlantic magazine releasing the detailed text in that group chat of top American officials outlining specific plans to hit terror targets using military jets hours before the strikes in Yemen. A reporter inadvertently invited to join. Tonight, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
At 1:48 a.m. Central Time, emergency response teams were dispatched, following reports of illness, disorientation, and disturbances of property. Responders confirm irregular behavior among residents in affected rural areas. Symptoms include speech loss, disoriented movement, and unprompted attempts to walk away from known locations. If the ground is breathing, stay silent. Repeat, do not follow unresponsive individuals. The names they're saying aren't mine, but I still feel like they're calling me.
Tonight, first new evacuations as dry conditions help fuel raging fires. One blaze in the Carolinas, now the highest priority fire in the U.S. as firefighters from as far away as Oregon rush in to help using bulldozers and chainsaws to make containment lines. Some residents watching helplessly as their homes are threatened. Faith
At 1:48 a.m. emergency dispatch received multiple calls from unincorporated areas in Cass County. Symptoms included lightheadedness, disorientation, residents moving outdoors without explanation. Further calls have mentioned hearing voices in the fields. Authorities are assessing possible equipment malfunctions. Residents in the following zones: Garden City, Dayton Township are advised to seal homes, remain low, do not answer if called by name, do not assist those moving without cause. If unrecognized speech is heard from beneath the foundation, avoid verbal response. They walked around the house for almost an hour. Didn't knock, didn't look inside, just kept whispering.
Reports continue to come in regarding a strange broadcast that has aired across several Midwest television and radio stations this week. Viewers report seeing what appears to be an old emergency alert system message dating back decades, playing without warning at approximately 2:22 every morning. Officials with the Federal Communications Commission and FEMA have both confirmed to WNS9 that there is no scheduled emergency test at those times, and no agency has claimed responsibility for the activation. We're also receiving multiple unverified reports from viewers describing strange incidents following the broadcasts. One Harrisonville resident told WNS9, quote, "I heard someone in my yard last night, thought it was a neighbor, but they weren't speaking right. Another viewer said simply, same voice from the tape, same words over and over.
What's your emergency?
I'm in Harrisonville. I need someone out here. There's someone outside my house.
Okay, stay on the line. Can you describe the individual?
I don't know. It's dark, but it's just standing there. It hasn't moved, not even once. It's wearing my coat. I think it's wearing my coat.
Okay, May. Is the individual attempting to enter your home?
No. It's just standing in the yard, facing the window. It knows I'm watching it, and it keeps saying my name.
Ma'am, can you confirm you're hearing someone outside your residence saying your name?
Yeah, but it doesn't sound right. It's like it's trying to remember how to say it.
Stay inside. Do not approach the individual. Officers are en route to your location.
There's more of them now. There's more. They're walking up from the field.
Ma'am, do not go outside. Lock all doors. Find a secure room if possible.
I can hear them breathing through the walls.
Ma'am, stay with me. Help is on the way. Are you able to move to another part of the house?
I'm saying it now. They're saying what was on the radio, the broadcast thing. They're repeating it.
Ma'am? Ma'am, are you still there?
Phenomenon that's got local social media buzzing, what users are calling talking soil. On Reddit, a popular thread titled, "Does the Dirt Really Talk?" has drawn over 3,000 comments in 2 days. One user wrote, "At exactly 2:22 a.m. my radio crackled, and I could have sworn the ground itself was humming." Another claims, "I heard my grandma calling my name from the backyard. She's been gone for 5 years." On X, Talking Soil shot into the top 10 trending topics across the US last night. Posts range from "soil vibrations woke me up like a whisper" to "my dog wouldn't go near the yard after midnight." Facebook neighborhood groups are filling up with similar stories, everyone from farmers to suburban homeowners reporting unexplainable noises underfoot. Many of these posts tie the phenomenon to a decades-old emergency broadcast, an EAS alert said to have been recorded in 2005 and now allegedly replaying itself nightly at 2:22 a.m.
Marcus, you still seeing those assay readings? Compound 13A in the soil cores. Double the safety threshold.
Yeah, and the vapor logs from last night are worse. They're spiking around the old drill shafts. That means our burn-off didn't reach those depths.
All non-essential personnel evacuate Sector B immediately. Repeat, Sector B is locked down.
D, that's where Delano's family was housed after the incident. They said it was decontamination.
That's correct, Doctor. It's a controlled containment. Go offline if you're not in the bunker.
Rebecca, listen, this wasn't a spill. It was a weapons trial. The DOE was dumping a prototype nerve agent into test wells. When the seals melted, it went straight into the water table and the soil.
My God, Delano was on that team. He helped set up the relay for civilian warning. His own EAS scripts, the ones that never aired.
We pulled him and his family in here, said we'd treat him, monitor exposure. But it was an experiment. We watched every neurological tick, voices, hallucinations.
He thought he would warn the county. So he recorded that AS broadcast loop. That broadcast, it was his cry for help.
If we got people digging a new barrier around the shaft, if that vapor breaks through again, you know what that means.
Another mass casualty event, and if Reed goes public, we lose everything. They'll clean us out of here, erase every tape, every felony we committed.
Then let them. The people above deserve to know that the ground they walk on is built on our lives and our sins.
Aliens.
At 12 o'clock a.m. Central Time, a joint military exercise will commence across the Midwest. The exercise will involve rapid deployment units and live communications drills across air, land, and emergency frequencies. All residents and non-essential personnel within a 15-mile radius of military installations and surrounding townships must immediately turn off exterior lights and minimize noise and avoid travel on public roads. Emergency lanes will be reserved for exercise units. Any unauthorized movement within the exercise area may be mistaken for a security breach. For your safety, comply fully with shelter-in-place instructions. Local law enforcement and National Guard personnel are on standby to assist. Further updates will follow as Operation Iron Anchor progresses. This is not a test. Shelter in place now and await the all-clear notification.
Station 3 to Central. We're observing the first full-scale venting at borehole 7. Steam velocity is off the charts. Thermal imagery shows rapid expansion.
I'm seeing compound 13A concentrations spiking in the plume. This is the first public proof of the breach. We cannot contain this quietly anymore.
So, we go dark or we broadcast. Public's already live streaming this. The cat's out of the bag. Operation Iron Anchor is exposed.
Social channels just lit up. People are calling it Toxic Geyser. They've tagged it at Cass County Cover-Up. Video's gone viral in seconds.
This isn't limited to Cass County. Soil tests in adjacent counties show microvents forming. At this rate, we'll see similar blowouts throughout the Midwest.
Understood. Prepare regional shelter-in-place orders. Scale it up. This is no longer a local emergency. Notify FEMA. We're looking at a potential continent tanning contamination event.
Thermal sensors just registered another plume 30 kilometers east. We're unfolding across 3 states right now.
Begin automated EAS override. Target all Midwest sectors. Advise hazardous emissions may occur without warning. This is our window to alert the public.
Do it. Get every regional command on lockdown. We're going live in T. It is 30 seconds.
Tonight, we're bringing you an in-depth look at those puzzling emergency alert system messages that have interrupted broadcasts across Cass County. Our team reviewed the 3 most recent transcripts and discovered a striking pattern. The first EAS interruption advises a 15-mile shelter-in-place radius around Harrisonville, Garden City, and Dayton.
In response, a shelter-in-place advisory has been issued for residents living within 15 miles of Garden City, Dayton Township, and the Harrisonville region.
The second interruption includes the unusual directive, if the ground is breathing, stay silent.
If the ground is breathing, stay silent. Repeat, do not follow unresponsive individuals.
The third interruption, again names Harrisonville and Garden City, and warns of hearing voices in the fields.
Further calls have mentioned hearing voices in the fields. If unrecognized speech is heard from beneath the foundation, avoid verbal response.
All 3 alerts single out the same towns, and the first transcript explicitly sets a 15-mile radius around them. When we overlay those 3 circles, They intersect at one unmarked location. That intersection sits atop what was once a Department of Energy testing site, the very facility involved in the 2005 containment breach. These messages were no generic warnings. They guided listeners straight to the heart of the decades-old incident. And note the directive, if the ground is breathing, stay silent. It's the only prompt to look beneath the surface. Taken together, the transcripts point not just to sheltering in place, but to a specific buried site that may still pose a threat. If you live near that intersection, document any unusual sounds or symptoms and demand accountability. We'll continue to follow this story and bring you updates. I'm Jake Nitruk, CNN.
What's your emergency?
Oh God, it's everywhere. An explosion under my truck. The ground split open like a crater. I'm just outside borehole 7, but this blast threw me half a mile clear.
Sir, stay on the line. Are you injured? Where exactly are you?
I'm on Highway W, west of Harrisonville. There's this giant fissure, glowing orange inside, and a mushroom cloud of steam and yellow gas soaring hundreds of feet. It's moving like a tidal wave.
Help is coming. Describe the cloud. Does it look toxic?
Toxic. It's alive. It's rolling out in all directions. Garden City, Dayton, even toward Kansas line. The smells like acid and sulfur. People are collapsing where the wind hits them, convulsing, screaming about whispers in the earth.
Get as far from the epicenter as you can. Move upwind. Seal yourself in a sturdy building if possible. Do you see any emergency crews?
No, roads were blocked by debris. I saw a farmhand vanish into the cloud, then heard his voice calling for help 50 yards away, but I couldn't see him. The ground's shaking. Small tremors racing outward in rings.
Understood. We're dispatching multiple hazmat and wildfire units. This is now a regional mass casualty event. Lock doors, turn off HVAC, cover your mouth.
I'm trying, but it's burning through windows. The whole building rattled like a bomb went off inside it. The sky's yellow, full of steam and smoke. There are dozens of those craters popping up along the road.
Sir, continue moving away in a straight line. Avoid the fissures. Can you tell me how far the plume extends?
At least 10 miles in every direction. No exaggeration. It's racing across fields, swallowing smokestacks, ripping up pavement. There's no safe zone.
We have multiple agencies en route, including National Guard. This is an unprecedented containment failure. Stay hidden, stay calm, and we will find you.
They said it was buried. They said it was contained. It's not contained. It's free, and it's coming.
Keep your line open. Emergency teams are on their way. Help is coming.
This is an NBC News special report. We're tracking a rapidly unfolding national emergency. Ground fissures spewing toxic gas have now been reported from California to Maine. Residents are seeing yellow tinct steam and experiencing disorientation and hallucinations.
This is the emergency alert system. All broadcast and radio stations interrupt regular programming now. This message is issued by FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security. At 4:07 Eastern Time, ground containment has failed at multiple bore sites coast to coast. Compound 13A, vapors are erupting from fissures that stretch from Texas to Maine. The soil itself has become a lethal threat. Do not seek refuge at ground level. Roads are collapsing. Fissures are opening. Attempts to dig shelters below ground have ended in fatal exposure. Your only safe haven is above the surface. Move to the highest accessible level of a building. Rooftops. Upper floors. If you are on a boat or offshore platform, remain at sea at least 5 miles from shore. Do not attempt overland evacuation. Ground transport is impossible. Indoor air is temporarily safe if sealed. Turn off all HVAC systems and seal vents with tape or cloth. Close all windows and exterior doors. Use wet towels or cloths to block drafts under doors. COM-13A is odorless, colorless, and causes severe hallucinations, respiratory collapse, and loss of motor control within minutes of exposure. Reports indicate victims begin seeing and hearing phantom figures. All civilian air traffic is being routed to high-altitude corridors above 10,000 feet. Mariners are ordered to maintain distance from coastlines. Stay tuned exclusively to official EAS channels on AM 540 or FM 88.1. This is a continent-wide hazard. Do not venture outdoors. Do not seek medical help outside sealed environments unless life is threatened. Further instructions will follow on this frequency. Repeat, this is not a drill. Ground level is compromised. Ascend now or remain at sea. Failure to comply will likely be fatal.
Mr. President, this is Jane Parker at NASA. I'm sorry to catch you off schedule, but our latest atmospheric readings demand your immediate attention. Over the past 24 hours, we've observed a steady drop in global oxygen concentration, roughly 0.05 percentage points per hour. To put that in perspective, Earth's air is normally about 21% oxygen. At this rate, we'll slip below a safe breathing threshold around 16% in just 4 days. Beyond that, people will begin to experience dizziness, impaired judgment, and eventually loss of consciousness. Compound 13A vapors are acting like a vacuum, pulling oxygen out of the air wherever those fissures are active. The ground explosions you've been overseeing across North America aren't just local hazards. They're robbing the atmosphere of oxygen on a continental scale. I understand you've been inundated with ground-level crises, but this is now an existential emergency. We need a national directive to halt all ground combustions immediately and move to high-altitude or ocean-based refuge. I'm standing by for your orders, sir. Every hour counts.
I never wanted it to come to this, but you deserve the truth you've spent your careers protecting. I am Melissa Delano, formerly Senior Engineer, FCC Emergency Systems. My father, Edward Delano, was the original voice in the 2005 AS alerts you suppressed. Alerts you told yourselves were tests or glitches. In early 2005, DARPA and the DOE released an experimental chemical agent, Compound 13A, into deep test shafts beneath Cass County. The intention was clandestine DARPA battlefield testing under the guise of a civil exercise. When containment failed, the vapor sank into the soil and groundwater, driving victims to auditory and visual breakdowns. Authorities sealed the site, locked my father and our family in an underground bunker for decontamination, and buried every record of the disaster. Edward Delano was first on the scene. He saw the hallucinations, voices calling names of the dead, the earth itself breathing. He coded EAS scripts to warn civilians, do not answer voices in the fields, shelter within 15 miles, ground is breathing, stay silent. Those messages never aired. They were locked away until they began leaking back into our systems. In the past days, fissures reopened, old shafts collapsing, buried Compound 13A erupting coast to coast, hospitals overflow, people are dying in the streets, convulsing with hallucination. Oxygen levels are dropping. Governments declared region-wide lockdowns, but none will tell you why. I have inherited my father's override codes. Tonight at 2:22 CST, I triggered every EAS transmitter to broadcast his final warning, and mine. You thought burying us would bury your sins. You thought the earth would swallow the truth. You were wrong. I will not rest until every name, every lie, every hidden death is exposed. Stand by for my father's final transmission. You built the tomb. You locked my family in. You poisoned millions. Now you will answer for it. Share this. Forward it, leak it. The world must know. I am Melissa Delano. This is our reckoning.
Oxygen levels continue to collapse worldwide, now below 19% in major cities. Emergency shelters are at capacity. Air transport corridors are jammed as people flee to high-altitude zones. Governments have declared martial law in some regions to enforce elevate or perish orders. Hospitals report patients gasping for breath, succumbing to hypoxia in minutes. Riots have broken out over bottled oxygen. Pilots describe cockpit alarms sounding continually as cabin oxygen struggles to maintain pressure.
If you're hearing this, I am Edward Delano. It's April 17th, 2005. My name may mean nothing to you now, but it soon will. I was tasked to contain Compound 13A, a weapon so cruel its very existence was buried from your memory. What they didn't tell you, what even I didn't understand until now, is that this toxin was designed not just to kill, but to erase, to rewrite your mind, your reality, the hallucinations you're seeing, the voices beneath your feet. It's not madness. It's memories. This compound traps the mind inside its worst moment, your deepest guilt, your hidden fear, forcing you to relive it until you suffocate in regret. And now it's everywhere. I couldn't stop them. They buried me alive beneath Cass County, thinking I was dead. But death never came. I breathed that poison every day, watching it reshape the memories of those around me until they were no longer human. But I held on to one thought. My daughter, Melissa. I recorded these messages for her to find, knowing one day she'd understand what was done here. Melissa, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry I failed you, but there is a way out. Compound 13A was engineered using a frequency signaler catalyst. Buried in my earlier broadcasts is a hidden frequency, a signal that can unravel the toxin's molecular bonds and reverse the hallucinations, restoring the mind and oxygen stability. Melissa, you've heard my voice, now use it. To everyone hearing this, humanity's future lies in a frequency hidden in its past. Decode it, amplify it. The answer is embedded in the echoes of our warnings. Don't let my voice die beneath the earth. I love you, Melissa. Save them. Save yourself.
Replaying Delano's broadcast isn't helping. The transcripts, the town, we've tried everything. People are dropping by the thousands now. There's gotta be something we missed.
Recheck the wording again. Delano stressed certain phrases repeatedly, maybe a number or pattern embedded in the original recordings.
The towns, the warnings, the time he kept mentioning. 1:48 a.m. But he said it exactly the same every single time, didn't he? Always precisely 1:48 a.m.
1:48 a.m. Every broadcast, why that specific time? Is it coordinates? A date?
No, he'd have made coordinates clearer. Delano wanted this found fast. It's got to be simpler, something immediate, something practical.
1 minute 48 seconds. Is that what he's really telling us?
Hold on, convert that timestamp into total seconds. What's 1 minute and 48 seconds exactly?
60 seconds plus 48 seconds, 18 seconds total.
108 seconds. 108. That's a number within radio frequency ranges, isn't it? Could Delano mean
108 hertz. It's a frequency. That's exactly what Delano specialized in. He kept saying the answer was hidden in his broadcast. What if the solution is literally that frequency? 108 hertz.
108 hertz, of course. That's something we could actually transmit nationwide. If that frequency interferes with Compound 13's molecular bonds, it could reverse the chemical effects or neutralize it altogether.
It fits perfectly. We've got to try it now. Patch it through every emergency channel and broadcast tower. Delano literally embedded the solution in every message he ever sent. He knew we'd look back. He counted on it.
Pull it up now. Can we isolate that frequency quickly? Play it. Let's hear what 108 hertz actually sounds like.
My God, that's it. The frequency from the background of his original broadcasts, it's exactly the same tone. He literally embedded the solution in the transmission itself.
We have our answer. Get this frequency patched through every emergency transmitter nationwide. Now,